Hello everyone, welcome to the very first video in our very first 62-bit top 10 video series. Just in case people are already getting mad about what's on this list, I want to link you guys to an unlisted video that has some of the rules and any other information that I thought was relevant before you dive right in. But I'm not going to waste your time with a big loaded intro, so here we go! Number 10, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy 3, whichever one you want to call it. I'm going to call it a 6. Wait, you're kicking this off with Final Fantasy VI at 10th? What are you, a madman? How is this not in your top 3? Or even your top number 1? Well, it's not in my top 3 because I'm not you, person who's upset about this. After all, this is a list of my favorite games, not an organized and ordered list of the absolute best games on the console. As for why Final Fantasy VI is only at number 10 on this list, we'll get there after a short summary of what the game actually is. Final Fantasy VI is a turn-based role-playing game with a hefty storyline set in a sort of fantasy steampunkish world. The main conflict in this game is between the current Empire and a rebel group. Wait, no, not those ones. Or those ones. Yeah, those ones. Wait, go back. Yeah, there it is. The Empire is trying to gain control over espers, which are sort of like lower gods, and get a grasp on what magic is to expand their military power. It gets relatively complex fast. You meet a huge variety of characters, get a great villain, and have to save the world. This plot is very difficult to summarize without leaving out a huge amount of important plot details, and it would honestly do you a huge disservice if I were to do so anyway. This is a story that is meant to be experienced firsthand. This game is absolutely one of the best games on this console, and is in my opinion one of the best Final Fantasy games ever made. In fact, it's my favorite of the bunch by far. That being said, for my list of favorites, these are mostly just games I'm ready and willing to pop in and play any day of the week.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Final Fantasy VI requires a lot of commitment for me to play, and while it is a wonderful game, the all-too-frequent random battles and the super involved story don't make for a very good plug-and-play experience like most of the games on here. With that in mind, Final Fantasy VI is clearly a masterpiece. The story is gripping and so full of amazing moments that I'm not going to spoil here. And, while the game may be a very serious tale with many highly emotional twists and turns, it also has a great deal of humor sprinkled in to keep the mood from going too somber. It has a huge cast of interesting and unique playable characters both in and out of battle, most of whom play completely differently from one another in terms of actual abilities in combat. Abilities such as magic, sword techniques, Street Fighter style input-based moves, copying enemies, and so on and so forth. It also has what is clearly one of the best soundtracks in gaming, from big sweeping overtures to off-putting who is this weird clown bad guy themes. The difficulty scaling is great, one of the best I've seen for this genre of game. You'll need to play carefully and keep an eye on what items and gear you have on hand, as well as which characters you've decided to put up on your team. You can get in trouble fast if you're sloppy, but at the same time, with the right tactics, you can create a massive damage-dealing and safe team that is very satisfying to play. First-time players, I highly recommend you balance your leveling between your characters. Well, thank me later. I was gonna put a clip here of Adrian Monk saying you'll thank me later, but I thought maybe you guys wouldn't really get the reference, and then when I looked for a clip, I couldn't even find one. So, I guess you get this clip instead. That's it. There's not even really a joke here. Proceed! In addition to all of this, the story contains a twist halfway through the game that is still one of the most shocking and memorable moments I have ever experienced in video game storytelling. Let's be real here. Kefka is one of the most twisted and great villains in all of gaming. I highly recommend this game to anyone who likes interesting fantasy storylines or any form of the role-playing genre. So, while this may not be a game I can just use to relax on any given day, when I actually do take the time to go through the lengthy adventure, it is always an amazing experience that is well worth the undertaking. All of these facts and more easily secure Final Fantasy VI as my current 10th favorite Super Nintendo game. So, there you have it. Final Fantasy VI gets number 10 on my list. Is this game in your top 10? If it is, let me know where. If it isn't in your top 10, let me know what is your 10th favorite game. If you can even pick it, that is. It gets really hard to number them after the first, 4 games, trust me. Thanks everyone for being here. Again, make sure you click them social links down below. And if the 9th video is already out by the time you watch this, click on that Super Nintendo /9 anywhere in that vicinity, and you will magically get transported straight to the other video right away. I am Gimpy Fish, this is 62-Bit Gaming, thank you all for watching.